Welcome back to Sunday Night Dinners with Deborah. So today we're making a baked Caprese pasta. The beauty of this dish is, other than being delicious, is that it's also so easy to make ahead. You can make it today, eat it tomorrow. You can make it in the morning, you can eat it that night, or you can make it right away and pop it in the oven straight up. So it's ready when you are. Also tonight, we're having for dessert Mrs. Tattersall's Gingersnaps. So I'll be making those a little bit later. So first we get a large pot of boiling water going. We are gonna make our pesto. I have a mortar and pestle. So I take 2 cloves of garlic and just drop it right in. I've got a 1/2 cup of fresh basil leaves. I happen to use my mortar and pestle when I'm only making a small amount, but when I go to preserve it from the summer, I make it in a big food processor and I freeze it. So I'm using a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a few grinds of pepper, and a 1.5 tablespoons of oil. And then you just grind away. So we're almost there. It's not going to be a smooth paste like you would get in a commercial pesto. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for ground up leaves. And it's quite a chunky little sauce. Okay, because we are adding that to our pasta. See? So this pasta is great with a variety of proteins. I happen to like it with chicken. I baked off 2 chicken breasts earlier today, and I'm just going to cube those up. Just in small, about 3/4 of an inch dice. I have a shallot, and I'm going to mince it. I like it pretty fine. It's basically just to flavor the sauce rather than to get a full bite. And now I take a handful of mushrooms. You can use mushrooms if you want. You can put in peppers if you like peppers. I just quarter my mushrooms. I've brushed them off. These mushrooms are a little older. They've been in my fridge for about a week, so they're starting to be less than super fresh, but they're perfect for baking with. I wouldn't want to toss these into a salad, but they're perfect when you're cooking them up. And now we just wait until our water's boiled. We're going to get everything underway. So our water's now at a rolling boil. And we're going to salt the water now. We want it really salty. We want it almost to taste like the sea. So we're adding about a 1/4 cup of salt to that water. This is the only chance you get to actually give any seasoning to the actual pasta. I'm using bow ties today. I use about 1.5 cups of bow tie per person because of how awkward it is sitting in the measuring cup. If I were to use, say, a macaroni, I would use about 3/4 cup per person. So there we go. While we are letting that cook, we're going to cook it for about 11 minutes. I'm going to turn my saute pan on medium high. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of oil as we want to saute our shallot and our mushrooms just before we add the cream and our pesto and our Parmesan to make our sauce. Now you can use any kind of a cream you want. I happen to be using 35% cream. You can use coconut cream. You could use a cashew cream. You could use almond milk if you so desire. You just want to have that creaminess. So I feel for some heat. So I'm adding my shallots. A little bit too early. I didn't hear sizzle. Oh, now I'm starting to hear the sizzle. I don't know if you can hear it above the fan that I have going on. So now I'm going to add my mushrooms. And I'm going to let those saute up. The easy thing about this caprese bake is that you can put anything you want in it. You can put mushrooms in it. You can put peppers in it, as I said. If I happen to like chicken in it, so we're just putting in chicken. If you like shrimp, add shrimp. Tofu, tempeh, roasted chickpeas, or none of the above. You could put additional, you could put zucchini in it, chopped up eggplant, whatever floats your boat. My mushrooms have just about cooked up completely. There's nice little browning on them. So what I'm going to add here is 1 cup of heavy cream. And now I'm taking my pesto from my mortar and pestle, and I'm using just a little spatula so that I can get all of that beautiful pesto out. Don't want to miss any, because that's really the flavoring of this dish. If you notice, I haven't seasoned the vegetables. I didn't season the cream, because all of our seasonings are in the pesto. Now I am adding a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. That's another reason why we don't season the cream, is because of the saltiness in the cheese. We just bring that up to a simmer. And once it hits a simmer, we turn off the heat until our pasta is cooked. So our pasta is ready. What I'm doing first is I'm taking a cup of that pasta water out for our sauce. Now I'm just going to drain the water out of this. And now we add in, oh, this is beautiful, a 1/2 pint of cherry tomatoes, 120 grams, which would be 4 ounces, of the mini bocconcinis. Those are drained, I should say. And then that diced chicken breast. Absolutely beautiful. We stir this up. Now you want it to be quite a loose sauce, since the pasta will continue to absorb, a splash of sauce there, continue to absorb the sauce as it bakes. So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of the pasta water. Actually, as I stir it, I think I'm going to add just a touch more. So about a total of a 1/4 cup of the pasta water. Now that pasta water we use because there are the starches from cooking the pasta that have come off of it. And now we just put it into our casserole dish. So I have, this is an 8x12 casserole dish. You can use a 9x13, use what you have. I use a little bit of pan spray to help with the cleanup after, because it's all about the ease. And now we have our beautiful pasta. You just slide that whole pasta in, getting all the last sauce from it. And then I do grind a little bit of we either put it in the oven at 350 for half an hour now while it's still hot, or we can set it in the fridge. You can bake it today, you can bake it tomorrow. But when you do bake it, you're gonna set the oven to 350, and then you're gonna put in the cold oven, you're gonna put the cold casserole dish. And then you set it for 350 so that the casserole dish and the oven warm up at the same time, so you won't have any risk of cracking any ceramic casserole dish. So there you go. I'll see you when it comes out of the oven. So 30 minutes have passed, and the pasta is beautiful. Tonight we're gonna make Mrs. Tattersall's Gingersnaps for dessert. Her recipe is legendary, and I was lucky enough to get a copy of it, and I'm happy to share it with you. First, we need to sift together 2 cups of flour, ginger, cinnamon, baking soda, and salt. Now, I don't happen to have a sifter anymore. I don't know where mine went a long time ago, so I'm just using a normal sieve. Place it over the bowl, and in goes 2 cups of flour, now this is a nice spicy ginger snap. So it has 1 tablespoon of ginger and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I buy all my spices in bulk, pretty much. So that's why I have them all in mason jars. And 1 teaspoon of salt. And now to essentially sift it, just to make sure that there are no lumps. And it also mixes in the spices evenly amongst all the flour. You just take a spatula or a spoon and go through. Quick and easy. So now we add into a KitchenAid if you've got it, or even just a wooden spoon in a bowl. So we add in 3/4 cup of shortening, 1 egg. I'm going to take some cooking spray and spray out a 1/2 cup, measuring cup. And then I take my molasses and pour it into the 1/2 cup. And because I sprayed it, it will slide out easily. Turn it around so you can see it. Works the same with honey, corn syrup, any really sticky fluid. And there we go. 1 cup of sugar. And now this is going to make some noise. I turn it on low to start. I take my spatula. I stop it, turn it down, and scrape the edge, because you just want to make sure that all of the shortening gets incorporated. Now I'm going to turn it on high. And now it's ready. So I don't know if you can see that. We grab back our flour and spice mix. And it's at this time that I add 2 tablespoons of baking soda. Give it a quick stir and add it in. Always turn your mixer on low once you've added the flour, otherwise it's gonna poof right into your face. So here we go, nice and slow at first. Would help if I put the mixer up. So I'm gonna turn the mixer up just ever so slightly, just for a few turns. And now she's ready. Now, this is a beautiful dough. And you can double, triple, quadruple the batch. At Christmas time, I hand these out to my friends and family in gift packages. So I make a 6 or 7 batch. So they're that popular and that delicious. Now we take one quick spin around the bowl, just to make sure it's all incorporated. And now we turn them into cookies. There are many ways to form cookies. Today I'm using a cookie scoop. It's a 1-ounce scoop that I like. For this particular cookie, it gives you a nice, generous sized cookie that everybody wants a big ginger snap. Easy way to do it. I have lined parchment papers onto cookie sheets. I save my parchment paper because I make cookies often enough. And we just scoop out the cookies. You want to leave about 2 inches in between the cookies because they are going to spread. I usually only get 10 cookies on a sheet. I don't try and crowd them because they do spread. So we cook those in a 350-degree oven for 11 minutes, and then they come on out. And now I'm just going to keep scooping up the cookies so that when the batch that's in the oven comes out, I can put the next batch in. So it's 50 seconds to go, 40 seconds to go, and we're going to put the next batch in. Now, one thing I did do in that 11 minutes is I continued scooping the cookies, and I cleaned up my kitchen so that even though you do your baking, you can clean up right after. You're not left with a big pile at the end of the day. And there we go. Pull those out of the oven and just set them here. Put the next batch in. Set the timer on for 11 minutes. Now those big beautiful cookies. See those? Now you're going to want to let those sit on the baking pan for 5 minutes or so. Usually I pull them off right before I'm pulling the next tray out of the oven, and then I put them onto a cooling rack. You just want to let them settle back down, get all craggly and crispy on the outside and tender and soft on the inside, and we'll see you in 11 minutes. So the next batch is ready. We pull it out, pop the next batch in, and set that timer. And now I have the first batch. They're still warm. Beautiful cookie. Look at all those crags. You can see they're crisp, but soft. Oh, So we're going to take the cookies off, set them on a rack for them to completely cool. Here we have it, our baked Caprese pasta with Mrs. Tattersall's Gingersnap cookies. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again.